Dear Derry, so what happened today? Well, not really a whole lot, at least as far as work was concerned. Um, kind of a QA roundtable where we talked about, well, these are things that I think could be done better, and these are things that have been bothering me, blah, 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 blah. Crap like that. Aside from that, it's just work. Um, but when I got home, I was watching Law and Order, of course, and I discovered that I've got like 3 or 4 criminal intent episodes left, and I've got like 15, special victims unit episodes. I'm like, damn it, I thought they were closer to being in sync than that. So I will either have to do a little marathon and catch up on SVU, or just not care and watch them, back and forth until I get finished with criminal intent, and then watch the rest of what I'll finish it somehow. I'll either balance it out ahead of time or afterwards. Doesn't matter. But then I saw a tweet from Bonnie Burton saying, basically, if you missed the Vaginal Fantasy Hangout, go and watch it, blah, blah, blah. It's up here on YouTube. Now, before, some of you who know me start freaking out and saying, oh my God, Trent, you're gay. Why would you watch anything with, vaginal in the title? It's important that you understand that it's a book review club kind of thing that Felicia Day, Bonnie Burton, Veronica Belmont, and Kyla, I can't remember Kyla's last name. Oh, crap. Kyla, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I will eventually get it. I swear I will eventually get it. Anyway, so the 4 of them, they had a special guest. Hannah was on this evening. And they were, well, it wasn't this evening. I was watching it this evening, but I think they did it like yesterday or something. Anyway, they were, it's a book review. It's a really, really cool thing. They do a lot of, sci-fi and fantasy books that they will read that have, leading female characters and stuff. That's why it's called the Vaginal Fantasy Hangout. And it's usually sci-fi fantasy related stuff. Sometimes they drift a bit from those genres, but it's usually pretty good. And it's always fun to watch them get drunk and talk about books that they read for the month, just because it's hysterical. Anyway, so in the course of the show, there was a point where they were talking about labels and sexual orientation, and that kind of got me thinking about when I was growing up. I almost exclusively had sex with guys, and for a long time I would tell guys, hey, don't knock it till you've tried it. And then it occurred to me that I was kind of being hypocritical because I'd never tried having sex with a woman. So eventually I did, and I tried it. It was fine. It was fun. It just wasn't what I wanted. But then I was going at it from a standpoint of, now I've done it and I know I wasn't doing it because I simply thought, I don't want to do that. It's not going to be any fun. I decided to try it. I gave it a shot. It was fun. It was great, but it's not what I want. So then eventually I learned, this was when I was like 19, 20 years old, I finally learned that I can look at a woman and see her as very beautiful, very attractive, but not be physically attracted to her. That I could see some woman that I think is very, very beautiful, but not want to get in bed with her. I did not understand that for a long, long time. And so for a long time, I thought I was bi, especially when I was in the Army. And it wasn't until I learned that distinction that I was like, oh no, I'm gay. Oh yeah. And my life became a lot easier at that point. But it got me thinking again about labels. We tend to put labels on all sorts of stuff. And I thought, why do we have to? I mean, I know what I want and what I don't, as far as, having sex with men, women, whatever. I know what I like, I know what I'm into, and I know, where my interests, why do I need a label? Labels only serve to describe things to other people. They only become necessary when other people enter the equation. Because I don't have to explain it to myself, or at least I don't need words to explain it to myself. I only need the label when it's time to explain it to someone else. Then the label becomes important. So, how do you know? Because I've run into a lot of people who are curious or confused, or they just haven't settled on one or the other, or whatever. They just don't know. And I've had a lot of people ask me, I mean, am I bi? Am I what? So eventually, I figured out how I explain it to other people. Now, this is going from the perspective of whoever I'm talking to being a guy. And I've had this conversation with many guys. And I'm like, because as far as I'm concerned, your orientation, gay, straight, bi, whatever, is defined by your preference. What do you prefer? If you prefer to have sex with men and you're a guy, then you're gay. If you prefer to have sex with women and you're a guy, then you're straight. If you have absolutely no preference whatsoever, you can go either way, you don't care, it's all good, then you're bi, because you have no preference. So what does that mean? Well, does that mean if you're gay, you can only have sex with men? No, it doesn't. You can do whatever the hell you want, so long as your partner is willing. Doesn't matter what your partner's gender is. I can have sex with a woman anytime I want to. Does that make me bi? No, I'm still gay because I would prefer to have sex with men. Doesn't mean I can't get my rocks off with a woman. At some point, if the moment is right and we're both interested, maybe I might do it again. I don't know. It's possible. But I'm always going to be gay because that's what I prefer, is men. I've had, straight guys that I've played around with, many of them, but they prefer to be with women. That is their preference. And no matter how many times they get their rocks off with a guy, they're always going to be straight because they prefer to be with women. So that's my way of looking at it. Your orientation is defined by your preference. And if you prefer the opposite sex, then you're straight. If you prefer the same sex, then you are gay, lesbian, what have you. If you have no preference and you can go with whatever you want, then you're bi. And when it comes right down to it, those labels don't mean shit. They are not important at all. Don't put yourself in a little box. Don't put little sticky labels on yourself saying, this is what I am and this is all I can ever be. No. Do what makes you happy, so long as you don't hurt anybody else. Go through life trying to bring more joy than harm. As Will Wheaton would say, don't be a dick. Just try to be a decent person. That's all it really takes. Try to be happy. Try to bring a little happiness to other people. Don't require definitions for everything. Sometimes just relax. Let it go. Maybe it doesn't have to be defined. Maybe it doesn't have to be quantified and qualified. Just enjoy your life. Be careless.